So welcome everyone to Stay Treat 2020 by You Define Wellness. I am Rhonda Bolish-Lampo and I am your host for this session. This is a life skill building session titled Positively Contagious, and no, it's not that type of contagious, with Nancy Kalsow of Kalsow Coaching and Consulting, LLC. Our speaker, Nancy, founded Kalsow Coaching and Consulting out of a deep desire to encourage others to explore what is possible, to remove themselves from mundane routines, and make conscious choices in all aspects of their life. Nancy is a certified professional life and career coach, certified human resources professional, and an International Coach Federation Associate Certified Coach. Nancy is passionate about helping people use the learnings from their past to shape their future. Her signature coaching package, Let's Get Real, and that's real, reflect, explore, act, and live, guides individuals to acceptance and empowerment. So help me welcome Nancy.
Thank you, everybody. And thanks again to Denise O'Malley for pulling this together, and to Rhonda for our host today. You guys have just been Johnny on the spot throughout this whole thing. And we've had, just a wonderful 3 packed days and a lot of great sharing of expertise, but also a lot of it was a lot of information. It's a little overwhelming to take that all in 3 days. So that'll be the great part about the videos, that people can go back and watch and kind of narrow in on a couple of things that are really important to them. So my goal today is to try to lighten the mood a little bit, have a little bit of fun, and show kind of how to build happiness and joy into this whole into our lives, really. So I wanted to start with the idea of happiness and the word happy and happiness and kind of what that means to people. Because often when I say, well, I'm a happiness coach, or, I help people find their happy, right? What I hear is, well, that's impossible. You can't be happy all the time. And they're absolutely right. You can't be happy all the time. We all have sadness. We all have challenges. We all have loss or grief at different times in our lives. But what we can do is prepare for those down times by building our immunity through creating happiness through the good times, right? And the more we practice that and the more happiness we have, when we hit a downtime, we're able to cope with it just a little bit more. So I'm going to be sharing my screen, and I do have a presentation, and hopefully we're going to have some fun together. So I hope that you'll all play along. So let me first, before I share my screen, I also just want to note that the whole idea of this Be Positively Contagious came from this idea of, COVID-19. And yes, I know people are walking around with their bandanas on, right? And we take this very seriously, and we should. I might be making some light of this today, but it has nothing to do with COVID-19, okay? And I do really appreciate that people are protecting themselves. So I just wanted to kind of lay the groundwork that I'm not making light of anything going on around us. This is serious stuff, and we all know that. Yet, if we can bring a little joy to our lives, we're able to get through that much clearer, much more focused, and really live in balance. So contagious came from this whole idea that there's yes, we have this contagion right now with COVID-19. And at other times there's other things, right? There's a lot of other diseases out there. But also highly contagious is kindness, patience, love, enthusiasm, and a positive attitude. And so my goal today is to be contagious for all of you in those ways, as I'm sharing tips for how you can build your resiliency for the inevitable downtimes. All right, so I am going to close out that one and share my screen with you. All right, and I just want to get onto the slideshow mode here. There we go. All right. So be positively contagious. So this is all about being contagious with those things like kindness and compassion and happiness and our attitude. All right. And I just love this little girl sticking her tongue out and, you know, having some fun with her fake little eyelashes there. And this, you know, there are days we all have power to make somebody else happy because we're in that spot. Okay. And there's some days where we're not, and we need somebody else to do that for us. So that's what I hope to bring for all of you today, and to give you ideas on how you can either do it for others or receive it from others as well. All right. So when was the last time you had a good laugh? And Denise, this is going to be our poll. And I don't mean just any kind of laugh. I mean, I want to know when the last time was you had a real long, good belly laugh. Okay? Like you couldn't stop laughing. So I think Denise has the poll up there. So go ahead and answer that question and be honest, because it's anonymous and, you know, this is going to help me give a stronger presentation. And hopefully people didn't step away and we get some results, I'm hoping. And so the picture in the background that you see there is actually me having a really great belly laugh several years ago on the beach with my family. And we literally could not stop. And even after they put me down, we ended up kind of rolling in the sand. And I mean, it was just hilarious. We had so much fun.
I'm glad somebody caught that photo.
Yeah, it was.
No kidding.
Yeah, yeah, it was a great moment for sure. How are we doing on poll answers, Denise?
I'm sharing the results. Can you see them?
I don't see them on mine.
Okay. 25% said today, 38% said within the last week, 25% within the last month, and 13% said it's been so long they can't remember.
Yeah. So this is a great thing to bring into a daily habit. We're going to talk more about those daily habits in a little bit. Thanks, Denise, for that. Yeah. And so I'm going to get rid of that there. I think now you just have the picture up. Okay, so we're going to try a little experiment. All right. And this is where I need you all to dive in and have some fun with this. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you all to unmute yourself. And what we're going to do, you don't have to show your picture if you don't want to, although that would be kind of fun too for the experiment. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a joke with you. And whether you think it's funny or not, just, you know, kind of, you know, honor the fact that I'm not a great
share jokes to see if we laugh.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this joke. And once you have the punchline, I just want you to start laughing. And I'm going to time it. Okay. And we're going to laugh for 30 seconds straight. No letting up. Okay. And this is just a little experiment to see if I'm right about this. Okay. So, and here's one last thing before I share the joke. It's okay to snort. Okay.
You can't snort.
All right. Is everybody ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here we go. So here's the riddle. Hey, did you hear about the new restaurant called Karma?
No.
There's no menu. You get what you deserve. Ah! Yes. Oh. Can you believe it? Come on, you guys. Who's gonna
I don't know if I'm laughing because it's a bad joke or because it's a good joke.
All right. Okay. You guys tell me how that felt. Oh,
No good.
Well, good.
I mean, do you feel a little less stressed? Like, oh, I mean, because when you laugh, you move around, you get your body's going, right? And you're taking in air. And guess what else? You can't think about something going wrong when you're laughing. It's really hard. It's really hard. So it has been scientifically proven that when you fake a smile, and especially when you add laughter to it, that you increase your endorphins and you automatically feel happier. Okay? Some of you have probably seen this whole thing where you go, "Oh, I'm so happy today." Pretty hard to feel that, right? And then how about, "Oh, this is the worst day of my whole life. I don't think I can do this anymore," right? Okay. But even when you do that fake and you've turned up the corners of your mouth, that increases your endorphins. Okay? Because it almost makes you laugh, like knowing that you even said that. Now, of course, there's extreme situations. And again, I'm not downplaying anything that's, critical here in somebody's life. And, I know there's things out there that this is not necessarily going to solve the issue. Okay. But it has been proven to boost resiliency when you can practice it when you can. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Thank you all for doing that with me. Oh, I want to just go back because here's the other thing I love about this joke, okay, this little riddle or whatever it is. You get what you deserve, okay, that part of the punchline. So yeah, it's a little funny too. I think I heard Rita say, yeah, I'm laughing because it was kind of funny, right? But on top of that, you get what you deserve. And there's some truth to that. And so I don't know how many of you have seen this. It was written by Charles Swindoll years ago. I mean, I used this in the corporate environment, gosh, in the 80s, I think. Oh gosh, that's really aging me, sorry. But anyhow, what I love about this is that it is really about your belief system and what you believe, okay? And so the last part of this, where he says, I am convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. And so it is with you. We are in charge of our attitudes. And I just love that because we can shift our attitude. Even when we say, I cannot shift my attitude, you can. There's a way to do it, okay? So that's what I'm going to share with you today, some ways to do that. So believing is really important. And believing is a type of reframing that we're actually going to get to a little bit later, okay? So I wanted to share, first of all, the 5 things that have been scientifically proven. There are 5 daily habits that if you practice these every day, it's been scientifically proven that you will boost your resilience for inevitable downs, okay? Now, positive psychology is fairly new. It was only coined positive psychology about 21 years ago, okay? And it's becoming really popular because of this whole concept of our minds really do control our actions and our bodies and everything. They're connected. They're deeply connected. And so there's been a lot of science around this recently. So these 5 daily habits were actually created or identified by a researcher, a positive psychology researcher, Shawn Achor. And Shawn is the author of The Happiness Advantage. And he was doing a study at Yale University. And it was about all these students who were so honored to get into this prestigious school. But within a month after being there, or maybe some a little longer, some a little less, they were so stressed, and they were just having horrible health issues and mental health issues, and there was just so much pressure. Okay, and so he studied that to find out what was going on, and he, along with several other universities now, have created campus courses about positivity and the impact it has on your ability to get through stressful situations. Okay, so that's the background on this. And the Happiness Advantages is all about that study. And if you haven't heard of Shawn Achor, If nothing else, look him up on YouTube because he talks really, really fast, and you can't help but laugh. I mean, he's hilarious. In fact, somebody today asked, "Who's your favorite comedian?" And even though Sean's not really a comedian, he's a fun one to watch. So, okay. So here's the 5 daily habits. First one, and you guys, the thing is you've heard all of these, okay? It's the combination of practicing them and doing them regularly, all right? So first one, gratitude. And it's writing down. So yes, a lot of people can express, oh, look at the beautiful sunshine today. Oh, wait, it's raining, but I'm going to call it sunshine. So, but you could say that, but the trick is to write it down. And not only write it down, but write down why you're grateful for it. Helps you stay grounded in why that's so important to you. Then the next one is to journal. And here's the thing, a lot of people journal, and there's lots of different ways to journal, and they're all good. They're all, there's a lot of healthy ways. You can vent through journaling, you can talk positive through journaling, you can share your story. Maybe you've got just something you want to get off your chest and you don't have anybody you can say it to. There's all great ways to journal. For this particular boost in your happiness, it's all about journaling about a positive experience you had within the last 24 to 48 hours, and then journaling as many details about that as you can. So what it looked like, what it felt like, who you were with, where you were, sounds that you could hear. You just journal about all those things, and it brings back this great positive memory that you can keep with you. Next up is exercise. Again, you've all heard this one, and really it's as simple as 15 minutes of mindful cardio every day. Now, you can always do more, just like any of these things, you can always do more, but the key behind these daily habits is it's realistic. You can do all of these daily habits in 30 minutes. And so that's a way of making sure you do it daily. If one day you want to go run for an hour, or go out in your kayak for 5 hours, okay, great. You're going to get more exercise that day. That's perfectly fine. All right. Denise, you just let me know if there's any questions or anything that pop up on any of these. Okay, thanks. Okay, next up then is to meditate. Now, what I like about this is meditation is not for everybody, okay? But for some, it's wonderful. And we had a lot of great meditation experts through this series, even sharing some great tips. We had our morning meditation, and tonight we have an evening closing meditation, which is going to be awesome. So if you're not a meditator, start small. But this is simply, you could sit and just look at your belly and watch your breath go in. Watch your belly expand and then blow it out. Because when you're focused on what's happening in your body and looking at that, you're less likely to have your mind wandering. So if you just keep your mind focused on, I'm breathing. This is life. I have this wonderful source of energy. Okay? That can really make a big difference. And then the 5th one is to engage in a random, conscious act of kindness every day. And these can be simple things, writing a handwritten note, especially now to those people that are considered essential workers. Oh, more than anything, they could use a thank you from even people they don't know, right? Or it can be, and this is a good one to remember right now, we are in our homes with loved ones, and they are getting on our nerves, right? I know it. My husband's now sharing office space with me. I'm used to working all alone in my home. Now he's here, and I had to kick him out for this. You guys are out, we go to the shed. But the thing is, they get on our nerves. But those are the people that we can do really easy, random acts of kindness for. Go get them that glass of water and deliver it to them. write a little hand note, a post-it note, and stick it. I had one on my computer this morning. My husband's really good at this. It just said, "I heart you." And then and that was it. But it was on my computer when I came down, because he starts his day at 5:30 and I started a little later. So anyhow, so you can do little things like that. Those are really important. Okay.
So Nancy, really quickly,
Yes.
there was a question in the chat. Is there a joke a day app that you're aware of?
You know what? I used to have that, and there used to be those joke a day calendars where you could, the little square desk calendars or whatever. So I know they're out there. I'm not familiar with with a certain app that does that, but I'm sure they're out there if you search for it. Yeah. Good idea. So that's a great tip right there. Just even to have, this is what I love about presenting, is everybody has ideas for how to do some of these things. Thank you. Okay. And Rhonda, thank you for popping in. Okay. Okay. So here's the thing, folks. This is our reality right now, right? And it kind of, that picture looks scary to me, and so this is an inevitable downtime. Okay. So what do you do? Well, you've all heard the saying, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade, right? Or maybe, hey, if you're throwing a curveball, hit it out of the ballpark. Okay. Well, I grew up on a dairy farm. All right. And there's a whole lot of manure on a dairy farm. So we had a little bit different saying. If you get manured on, go spray it off. All right. So that was our way of saying, you know what, things are going to happen and you got to move on. We had a 24-hour a day family dairy cow operation. Okay. You had to keep going. The business depended on it. So you found ways, and some days were much harder than others. So that's one of the ways that I built some of my resiliency, was experience that, knowing that you have to keep going. Okay. Here's the other thing. Belief is so important. And I mentioned that earlier. And so for me, this "oh yes, I can" was all about, for me, building my own business. I found this picture a couple of years ago and I was like, yeah, I need to face the bull. This is a little scary to step out and get out of the corporate world and having a regular paycheck. I'm going to do it. And I have to believe I can do it. And so instead of when life throws you lemons, make lemonade, or when you get manured on, go spray it off, I really like this one. When life puts you in tough situations, don't say why me, say try me. Okay? Try me. Just try me. Yeah, I'm going to do this. Okay? So that whole concept of don't say why me, just try me, or say try me, that is all about changing your belief, changing your mentality, and that's a really simple reframe. Instead of why me, say try me. Okay? That's a reframe. So we're going to talk about reframes, and this is going to be fun, I think, for everybody. I hope it is. This is going to give you something that you can really take away for your situation right now. Okay, so you've got the 5 daily habits, and if you're not doing all of those every day, I encourage you to consider it, and try it for 21 days and see how you feel when you're done. Try the fake laugh every day and just see what happens. It's great. This is another tool, reframing your brain. And a reframe is just another way to look at the situation. Okay. Shifting your perspective to get a fresh perspective. And I'm not talking about farm fresh, okay? I'm talking about a fresh look, a new feeling. All right. So what I'll do is I'm going to show okay, let's start with this. In order to reframe, you kind of have to know, well, what's bugging you, right? Or what's showing up for you? What is it in the moment? And so here's where I want you to start the exercise. And what I'd like you to do is just think about your nagging negative notions. So nagging means this has come up more than once for you. All right, it keeps coming back. Now, this can be about our current situation with COVID-19, or it can be about anything else in your life. Okay, my nagging negative notion right now is that my husband swears when he's working, and I'm on conference calls. That's a nagging negative notion, it's coming up over and over this week. Seems minor in the vast scheme of things, but every time it happens, I go negative. So what am I going to do to shift that negativity when that happens the next time? Okay. So for you, go ahead. If you've got a nagging negative notion that you would like to share, feel free to put that in the chat or unmute and just share it with the group. You don't have to. We're going to get a chance to share in small breakout groups, so you can just kind of have some discussion with one person. So don't feel like you have to share now, but if you're more comfortable doing it with just one other person to get some feedback. But if anybody does, I'll wait just a minute here and see. And Rhonda, do we have anything?
We have everyone is home but not sharing the work.
Yeah.
We don't have any others yet.
Okay. Yeah. So everybody's here at home, but guess who's doing all the work? Yeah. Right.
I see it a lot, especially with moms or parents right now that are not only home working, but now homeschooling their kids. Everybody's right on top of each other.
Yeah.
I mean, like in some cases, literally and figuratively.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've seen pictures of, there's 4 computers at a kitchen table, and they're all right there and doing their thing. But yeah, you can almost see some frustration in people's faces. Yeah. Looks like a few more maybe came in. Or are they just regular, or are they just some comments?
Let's see, my husband gets negative, I get upset, happens a lot. And then another one has a family member within earshot. So she's staying mom.
Yep, I completely understand that. And that is, a lot of this is, we have some of these feelings, and it's hard to realize or recognize that it's okay, and that and what we share with others, there are times when it's appropriate and maybe times when it's not, but it's always appropriate to share it with somebody. And that's the important thing to remember is when you have these negative notions, sometimes just talking it over can really help you. And if you're not able to reframe yourself, reach out to somebody to help you reframe. Okay. All right. So we had a couple of things with, hey, everybody's home and I'm doing all my own work. And remind me of this other one again. It was the second one was about limited.
Let's see. Hubby gets negative.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Others that have other family members at home.
Yeah. Yeah. So just the tight quarters people are feeling.
Oh, here's one for you. someone is commenting, it bothers me when I make a phone call to a friend to check on her and that everything out of her mouth is negative, or poor me.
Ah, yeah.
And especially since she is so much better off than a lot of people, especially in today's events.
Yeah. Okay. And definitely, so we heard that negativity coming from a spouse, and then also this negativity when you're calling others. And what happens when we're experiencing that, right? Oh, now I'm negative. That's what happens when my husband's over there swearing, at his computer, as I'm, Jesus, it's eating me up inside, right?
Nancy, there's another one that came up a couple of times, and it pertains to me absolutely, is children, particularly adult children or older children, not doing what asked in a timely manner. They get to it days later when you ask them, can you take the garbage out now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. These are great examples, because that's the stuff, right? It's those daily activities that really nag at us, Yeah. Sometimes it's a deeper thing, like we have a loved one who maybe just came down with the virus and we're concerned about them, and then we nag over the worry. But sometimes and almost always, these are more likely to be what's going on just in our daily life, because that triggers us to just kind of shut down, right? Yeah. These are great examples. Thanks for sharing, you guys. So I'm going to share with you then the 3 steps. Oh, well, geez, I know I'm not going to share the 3 steps because I forgot I had this slide. Here's an example of some that came up during the pandemic. Now, since the examples we have don't necessarily relate to the pandemic, you can choose to look at these or not. But the one I really like is the last one, because it's very general and vague. Like, there's so much uncertainty right now, right? And that can be going through your mind. And it comes back to, so what can I do? And we're going to talk about this in our reframes. And in this case, this person came up with doing breath work, calling loved ones, and doing activities I love. That's great. Yeah. So what do we have control of? So those were some samples. So I use a 3-step approach, and sometimes this goes really deep, and other times it's really easy. So depending on the situation you shared today, it might come easier for you, or it might need some more dialogue and understanding around what's happening with that emotion. Okay. So the 3 steps that are all going to pop up at the same time, but we'll walk through them each individually. I like to call it the name it, claim it, and tame it. Okay. So it starts with naming it. So think about your situation and your nagging negative notion. And I want you to put an emotion to that. Are you sad? Are you bored? Are you frustrated? Are you concerned? What's the emotion associated with that? And then once you've got that emotion, you just recognize this. And this goes we start between name it and claim it, and they kind of start to merge together. You can say, hello, fear. I see you, right? And saying things out loud is a great part to this process, because it helps you acknowledge even more that you're feeling this. And you can also say, it's okay for me to feel this right now. This is real. This feeling is real. You have to claim it, because if you just try to push it now, it's going to resurface. And when we don't claim it and identify it, we don't get the empowerment to deal with it. So this is often where a lot of people stop. They say, oh, I'm so frustrated because nobody's doing any of the housework, right? But then they go, okay, well, that's never going to change. And okay, so I'm just going to move on. Instead of, okay, I can be frustrated about this. This is real, and then you start to move on to the, okay, now what can I do about this? And you could even ask, how is this situation helpful to me? Which is an odd question, but when you think about it, and you really think about it, a lot of times there's a reason why that feeling is there. I'll share one example of this. I had a client who was always worried about her son. And her son had, kind of a rough patch in life. And she was just constantly worried that no matter what decision he made, it was going to be bad. He wasn't making any money. How could she help him? On and on and on. And she would just worry about whether he was going to get sick or, whatever. And I just asked her, how is this worry helping you? She said, well, it's not helping me at all. It's just making me more anxious. And I said, okay, well, what's that? We talked through that. And all of a sudden she goes, wait a minute. It is helping me because it's helping me. It could help me prepare for how I want to handle things. If any of those things happen, I'm going to be able to handle them better if I prepare. So now she had something she could control. Okay, none of those things are happening right now. But if they did, what might I do? And she had this whole toolkit, how she could support them. And now she could let go of the worry because she had a toolkit. So if something happened, she could go to her toolkit and pull it out. That is powerful. And she still uses it to this day. So that's why I suggest that question. Sometimes something will come, other times it won't. But how is this situation helpful to you? How is this feeling helpful to you? Okay. And what can I do now? What's a step I can take to make this better? How do I want to react the next time this happens? So for me, having a plan on the next time my husband swears out loud, what's my plan so that I don't absorb that energy from him? And now I've reframed and I have a new way of looking at it. So let's see, I want to do a time check. Oh, good. It looks like we do have a little bit of time for this. And I'm not sure how many participants we have. Rhonda, can you see?
We have 11 on the call.
11,
right?
yeah.
12.
Okay.
Or one
So,
coming on.
okay. So what I'd like to do is maybe do the breakout rooms. And let's just do 2 so that people can really just share confidentially and get some support from one another. But share your nagging negative notion. And if you have to put it in your chat or something because you've got ears around, that's okay. But share the negative notion and then name it. What's the emotion? Accept that emotion and ask yourself what you can do. And we'll give, I think, 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes for each person. So maybe come back in about 5 minutes.
How many rooms do you want?
Well, I'm thinking about just putting it in groups of 2. So I think that would be about 5 rooms.
And that would be about 15 minutes, which will be, I think, a little too close. Can we add rooms?
Oh, sorry. If in the small groups, each person, the 2 are only talking 2 minutes each. So do five groups of 2.
5 groups of 2.
Is that, then each person's got 2 to 3
2
minutes.
minutes.
And we'll
Yeah.
come back. Yeah. So we'll be back in about 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll be right at time to wrap up. So, yeah.
Okay. That's good. Then I can wrap up. Okay, good.
Uh,
So yeah, please use this time, you guys, to really help yourself, find some ways to reframe, get some ideas from one another. And then we'll come back together in about 5 minutes.
So there's a few people who can't do the breakout.
Okay.
So Rita and possibly Betsy. So
Okay. That's okay.
Rita, So Rita's back. She
Oh,
can.
yay. Okay. Okay, great. Thanks, Rita, for rejoining. Okay. So yeah, so just do whatever you can, and if there's a straggler, you can put them with me or whatever.
Okay, I've
Yeah,
got,
I can pop in anywhere.
we're down a couple because a few people said breakout rooms and they bailed.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've got them set up. Nancy, you're going to go into a room. Rhonda, you're going to go into a room. If you guys don't want to be in those rooms, hit that leave meeting room at the bottom after you go in, because I can't take you out.
Okay.
So, are you ready to go? And what time do you want everybody back?
Let's do 5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes. I'll see you guys. I'll send you a notice when I'm sending you back.
Okay. Thanks, Denise.
2.
To resume the recording now. Hi, guys. I know that was short. Was it good? You're muted. Mary's like, yeah.
Got some frustrations out.
Good.
Venting, as they call it, right?
All right, Nancy, you have to unmute yourself and it's back in your court.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. Good. Well, I hope that was helpful to people and you have a little something that you can use to just think differently as you go through, the next time you experience that thought or that feeling, and come to your little toolkit and say, now what am I going to do? So let's see. I think then, why am I not?
So we're right at a few minutes left for you, Nancy. Just so
Okay,
you know.
thanks, Brenda. Thank
Sure.
you. So I think I wanted to share this, really important. Okay, so this is my friend Tina Hallis. She and I went to the World Happiness Summit last year.
Nancy, your screen is not showing.
Oh, it's not? Oh, I
No.
probably have to
I can
reshare.
see her. Okay, there we go. Okay.
Oh, okay. Can you guys see it? Everybody can see it or no?
Yes.
You guys can
Okay.
see her
Yes, I can see you.
Okay.
Yep.
All
her
right.
presentation.
So thank you. Okay, so Tina and I went to the World Happiness Summit, and yes, there is a World Happiness Summit every year in Miami,
Mhm.
Florida, and it's fabulous. Okay, and it's all based on positive psychology. And we had a great time. And Tina actually, why is my cursor not working here? So Tina wrote this book called The Positive Edge.
Mhm.
And it's a wonderful book for reframing. And what it is it's almost like a little workbook. So that she's got 80 scenarios. And you can turn to any one time, and they're each just a 2-page spread. And responding to other people's negativity. Okay, so that was one that came up today. Well, she's got a little exercise that walks you through how you can do that. All right. So what I wanted to offer to you, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because she heard that I was speaking, and she said, Nancy, I want people to know that I'm going to put this free on Kindle. They can get a Kindle version of this book for free through next Monday. And so I wanted to share that with you because it's a great tool. And I think this is a perfect time for people to be using this tool. So look for that on Kindle and enjoy it. And feel free also to reach out to Tina. She owns the Positive Edge is the name of her company.
What's Tina's last name?
It's Hallis, Hallis.
So the actual Kindle version is Sharpen Your Positive Edge.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Do we need a code or anything to get that for free, or if we just go on to Amazon, it's going to show up as a freebie for a limited time?
Yes, but it will not show up until I think it's 2:00 tomorrow morning. She timed it so that it'll show up tomorrow and be out there for 5 days for all of you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, and you can share that with others as well. It's not that she doesn't want other people to know about it. It's just she did this specifically for me to provide that to you. So, all right. So with that, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about what I covered today, you want help reframing a certain situation or whatever. And I know that I think Rhonda's going to cover my offerings through You Define Wellness. So the one I will share that you probably won't know about is that I do lunch and learn workshops for businesses. And there's the list of them. The Leadership is Contagious is right now the only one that I'm offering through You Define Wellness at the discounted rate, but I'm considering opening others as well. These have been really very favorable. People have been reaching out to me to do these virtually. So that's been a lot of fun. And then last but not least, all that manure, the manure on the farm actually led me to writing my own book, which might give you some just tips, a little bit on my history and why I am the way I am. And I'm a little corny, I know. Thank you for all being hokey with me today. But I grew up on this dairy farm with a lot of strong work ethic and values and happiness and a lot of joy. And I was very blessed. And I know not everybody has that, but if you want to hear some more just down to earth, great foundational stories about life and especially life on a dairy farm, feel free to pick up my book. So, and with that, that's all I have. So I'm going to stop my screen share, I think. How do I do that? Go back to my Zoom.
Nancy, what we had been trying to tell you was that your screen share was not going on when you guys came back from the meeting rooms.
Oh.
So
I captured stuff and put it in the specifics and put it in the chat. So hopefully people grabbed it there.
Oh, because I thought I heard some people saying they could see it.
they could see your video, your face, your presentation was not showing.
Oh, I'm sorry, folks. Okay,
That's okay.
well,
I think we got it in the chat.
okay, thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it.
Sure. And let me just share, thanks, Nancy, absolutely. Nancy is the owner of Kalsow Coaching and Consulting. And so you can look her up in our provider network. We have an amazing provider directory at youdefinewellness.com and connect with her there. And if you own the Healthy Living Savings Card by You Define Wellness, Nancy offers a 20% discount on one-on-one life coaching or goal setting packages. So if you've been with us throughout the day, you are starting to realize these Healthy Living Savings Cards are extremely valuable. They are only $49.50. So I think the best part is that they never expire, and there are dozens of healthy living savings you can take advantage of. So share the fact that we offer the Healthy Living Savings Card by You Define Wellness, and they're available on the youdefinewellness.com website. So